وصلى الله على النبي الأمي برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. رحلة أبي أيوب رضي الله عنه إلى مصر ليسمع حديثا من عقبة بن عامر رضي الله عنهما. This is a chapter where Sahaba Kiram radiallahu anhum would undertake lengthy journeys, sometimes just to hear one hadith. This was the zest and the thirst and the value of knowledge. That's why man humani la yashba'an. Two people with thirst will never get satiated. One in ilm, the one who wants ilm, he'll never get satisfied. He wants more and he wants more, and he'll seize every opportunity to learn, and that is true talab. So there's two reports. One is that of Ibn Jurayj, wherein Hazrat Abu Ayyub radiallahu anhu traveled. Now who's Abu Ayyub? One of the senior Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's host. He was the host of our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What was his name? He was Khalid bin Zayd radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He travels to Uqba bin Amir Juhani. So Hazrat Abu Ayyub is traveling from Medina Munawwara to Egypt. The next report has it here. Ibn Abdul Barr brings this report. The previous report is in Musnad al-Imam Ahmad. And Ibn Abdul Barr mentions that Sufyan bin Uyayna narrates from Ibn Jurayj that he heard from Ata. Now Ata is one of the great scholars, and he was African. Ata bin Abi Rabah. He says Abu Ayyub radiallahu anhu traveled to Uqba bin Amir Juhani. And when he arrived there, they told Uqba that Abu Ayyub is here. So he knocked the door and he asked for Uqba radiallahu anhu. So Uqba radiallahu anhu came out, and Abu Ayyub radiallahu anhu said to him that, you know what, I'm asking you about a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he's calling him in. He says, you know, I've traveled all this way. I got so much of work of deen there, but I'm here just for this one hadith. He says, only you are left who heard this hadith. That means this is towards the end of the life of Abu Ayyub. So that teaches us that learning deen and increasing in knowledge is not only when we're young. Even no matter how old we can be, we must always aspire to learn more of Allah's deen. He says, only you and I are left who heard this hadith. He says, what did you hear Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say concerning this aspect? But what is this topic in this hadith that Abu Ayyub traveled so far to hear it from Uqba? He says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man satara mu'minan fid dunya," the one who conceals the weakness of another mu'min, the one who conceals the fault of another believer, satarahu Allahu azza wa jal yawm al-qiyamah, Allah will conceal him on Judgment Day. What an amazing quality. The next incident is very similar, but there Uqba bin Amir Juhani travels, and he goes to meet, now remember Sahaba's names, he goes to meet Maslama bin Mukhallad. Now Maslama bin Mukhallad, sadly, is a Sahabi not known by many. But what a great Sahabi he was, subhanallah. His students say when he used to read Tahajjud, we used to join him. He would read, for example, Baqarah, not even one mistake, a master of the Quran Kareem. His student was Abul Muhajir Dinar bin Abi Dinar. That was the Mawla, the freed slave of Maslama radiallahu. What Sahaba used to do, if they bought a slave, they used to teach them deen, free them, and send them to the world to teach and impart Allah's deen. The same Abul Muhajir Dinar went into North Africa, and he brought thousands of people to Islam. And whose student was he? This Sahabi's student. So Makhul says, Uqba radiallahu anhu, Uqba bin Amir Juhani goes to Maslama, and there was a doorkeeper by Maslama's house, and Hazrat Maslama heard that Uqba came. He says, call him in. So Hazrat Maslama says, you know what, I have to carry on. Then Hazrat Uqba came. He says, why have you come? You know, I'm so happy. Come in. You visit me. I'm so happy that you're here to visit me. He says, visiting on another occasion, but yeah, I came for a need. Imagine. What is a Sahabi's need? He says, remember, Rasulullah told us this hadith. He says, the hadith that we were together and Rasulullah told us. He says, yes. He says, tell it to me again. Because you heard it from Rasulullah. Look at their love for Rasulullah. His companion heard it from Rasulullah. And Rasulullah has left this transitory world, so he wants to hear it from his companion. So Hazrat Uqba travels to Maslama to hear this hadith. And what is the content of this hadith? Subhanallah. Man alima min akhihi shay'an fasataraha satarallahu alayhi yawm al-qiyamah. He who comes to know of the weakness and the fault and the shortcoming of another brother, and he conceals it. He doesn't talk about it. He buries it. He doesn't divulge that person's weakness. Allah will defend him and conceal him on Judgment Day. What an amazing lesson for you and I. That we learn to control this tongue, respected students of Deen. Don't just speak about the faults of people and the weakness of people and enjoy entertainment thereby, that this one is like this and that one is like that. Why must we speak about the weaknesses of others? Why must we divulge the faults of others? If we really care for that person, go to him and lovingly, privately advise him. Why must we talk to everybody else about somebody's weakness? Is there any pleasure in that? No, there's punishment in that. There's flame for that. We are answerable. And many a time without verifying, we just talk. Oh, do you know this one and that one? It's a very, very deadly disease called panchat. Whatever you call it, Allah knows. But it's totally, despicable. It is not good for a believer. And all our good deeds, we'll have to pay that person on Judgment Day. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taught us to ask Allah's protection from such a friend and such an associate who, whenever he sees one's good, he conceals it. لو رأى حسنة سترها ولو رأى سيئة أفشاها. Ask Allah's protection from such people. When they see good, they conceal it. They can't speak about the good in others. As soon as they see someone else's mistake, the whole town knows about it. Because we can't conceal the faults of each other. Allah give us tawfiq to be able to control this tongue. احذر لسانك أيها الإنسان لا يلدغنك إنه ثعبان. Be careful of this tongue, O insan. Let it not sting you, because its deadly bite is worse than a snake. With the tongue, so much of fitna can be caused. That's why let's learn to control our tongues. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, sometimes a person takallama bi kalima yurdi Allah ta'ala. He said few words that made Allah happy, that brought people together, that became a means of khair coming about, that became a means of somebody being honored, somebody getting a good position, somebody being successful. One word he said. Allah's Nabi said that one statement you made, just a word, يَكْتُبُ اللَّهُ لَهُ بِهَا رِضْوَانَهُ إِلَى يَوْمِ يَلْقَاهُ. Allah decrees His pleasure for that person forever, till judgment, till he meets him. But sometimes a person makes an utterance, but he displeases Allah thereby, meaning causing fitna, speaking about the faults of others, in the form of backbiting or slander. Even if the person is involved in that sin, but we're talking about it for no reason. Or that person is innocent of that crime that we heard about and we're blaming him for. That is called slander. One of the major crimes in Islam, slander. So Allah's Nabi said, because of that one utterance, Yahwi biha fin nari ab'ada bin sab'ina kharifa. A person's statement, he caused fitna. He will fall in hell for over 70 years because of one statement. That's why this tongue is something we have to learn to control. لا يحب الله الجهر بالسوء من القول. Allah Ta'ala doesn't like us just talking about bad all the time, just bad about people, and talking loudly, just bad. Illa man dhulim. Yes, there's certain instances you are oppressed. Don't remain oppressed. In that case, you ask assistance. That so-and-so is oppressing me. Can you help me? Go ask the person to help us. That's a different case. Or someone asks you opinion regarding a certain matter or a certain person who he wants to interact with. And you know that that person, obviously maybe he's known for theft. Then you can advise him, you know what, be careful. If you are sincere in that advice, or you know so-and-so is on drugs, now you can't say, no, you must give your daughter the, and you're concealing, no, I have to conceal his fault. No, you're gonna keep quiet. That person is on drugs, you're gonna let that girl get married to that boy, and you didn't notify the father. In that case, we are sinful. See, so there's wisdom. When we're supposed to speak, Islam teaches us, and when we must keep quiet, Islam also teaches us that. In certain instances, we are allowed to speak. Someone asked our assistance because he's being oppressed. Or you're asking somebody's assistance because you are oppressed, you can speak. Tadhallumun, wasta'in, wastafti. Or you're asking for fatwa, a certain matter between two people. The matter has to be brought about, and if the situation, the scenario is needed, wastafti. Hadhir, or you're warning a person. You're telling a person, you know what, so-and-so is staying in your room, and really this person has been doing such and such. And if you are true and sincere, then you're giving him advice, you won't be answerable before Allah. Hadhir, you're warning him that this person has moved into your room, be careful. But let's say if we're just saying that to make him seem bad, then we are perpetrating this crime of divulging someone or falsely accusing somebody, and that is slander. Hadhir. And then also, وَذْكُرَنَّ فِسْقَ الْمُجَاهِرِ. A person is an open sinner. In that case, we can mention and we can warn, because he's openly sinning and so forth. So Allah Ta'ala save us. We were mentioning that youngster Muhammad, isn't it? I just want to finish that incident for you. So he comes home. He comes home one day, right? Can you remember where we are? He comes home one day. I say my time has elapsed again. So I'm going to tell you one part of it, then we'll finish it later. He comes home one day and his parents are not there. So he sees an uncle. The uncle says, remember me? He says, yes, I remember you, uncle. He says, remember what your father told you? He says, yes, my father told me if I come home and they're not there, I must go with you. He says, that's what it is. And he takes him. He takes him to the port and he escorts him to Maghrib, to Morocco, to save him, because his parents were taken to the torture chambers. And what is that torture chambers? I told you to find out, but we'll tell you something. But then this youngster, Allah Ta'ala blessed him. What sacrifice? He became such an alim. But what sacrifice they went through to learn one ayah of the Quran and one hadith of Rasulullah. And you and I, it's all available. We have teachers and we have senior students who are ready to teach us and help us night and day. But we don't want to take that opportunity. We're reading so weak. Some of us, we are in bigger classes, maybe third year, fourth year. You know your own situation. But we won't take the qasasul nabiyyin and go to somebody to help me, even though we can't recognize fa'il marfu' or mubtada khabar. Why are we so arrogant? While we have the opportunity now to correct it, we can't take our time. No, what will they say? So we can't take our time to correct ourselves. That is shaitaniyat. That is arrogance. While we are studying, so what if we are weak? Rather we correct ourselves now. Instead of tomorrow we go and we don't know nothing and the people think we know. Correct it now. No matter which year we are in. Learn and seize the opportunity. You know who you are and I know how weak I am, and you know how weak you are and we are. Seize the opportunity, don't feel shy, correct ourselves.